everyone, and welcome back. My name is Mr. Cobalt, and in this video, we're going to go over the periodic trend of electron affinity. So let's get into this. So once again, we need to keep in mind what's going on with the effective nuclear charge, what's happening to the size of the atoms, and therefore what's happening to the attractive force between the valence electrons and the nucleus. So what is electron affinity? So electron affinity, by all accounts, is really the opposite of ionization energy. So we learned in a previous video that ionization energy is the energy that is put in order to remove an electron from the atom. So if you have an electron in the atom, so there's a certain amount of potential energy to that atom. If I am removing that electron from the atom, then that is causing the potential energy of the electron to increase. Well, how does that potential energy increase? I have to put energy into it. So in order to remove the electron from the atom, I have to add a certain amount of energy in order to remove that electron farthest or infinitely far from the nucleus. So I'm removing the electron from the nucleus or from the atom, and that requires energy. So that's going to be a positive value. For electron affinity, I'm doing the opposite. I'm putting an electron into the atom, and that's going to cause an energy to be released, right? Because I'm taking an electron that has very high potential energy because it's so far from the nucleus, and I'm lowering its energy by putting it closer to the nucleus. And so when you go from high energy to low, there's a release of energy. So that's going to be a negative value. So the electron affinity is how much energy is released when an atom gains an electron to make a negative ion. Another way to put that is how much stability does the atom gain by becoming an anion? Okay, so the more energy that's released, the more stable. So the more negative the value of your electron affinity, the more stable the atom. So it's a measure of stability. So let's think of it in terms of stability as well as in terms of like how strongly would an atom want an electron. So if we're looking at the trends here for the effective nuclear charge, we saw that the effective nuclear charge increases across. So that means that the nucleus is having more attractive force on the electrons. So as you're going across, would you think it would be easier to put an electron than harder? Would the nucleus attract the electron more or less? And so we would expect that the electron would be attracted more. Also, as you're moving across, you're adding more electrons to fill in the shell. So that's going to make it more stable because they want to have that outer shell. So therefore, we would expect the trend to increase in electronegativity. So generally what we see is that the negative values, the amount of energy released does increase, generally going across. Not as much as we see in the other trends, but there is a general trend there. What about going down a group? What would we expect? So again, we see that the atom is getting bigger, so electrons are getting farther away. The attractive force of the nucleus is not going to be as strong. So we would expect that due to the less attractive force of the nucleus, the electrons are farther away. So therefore, putting an electron into the atom is not going to release as much energy because you're not getting as close to the nucleus. So remember, closer to the nucleus means lower energy, more energy being released. So since we have a smaller atom at the top of our group, electrons can get closer, more energy would be released. The electron is held more tightly. So we would expect as you go down a group, electron affinity would decrease, and that's what we see. So the trend then for electron affinity is going to be going across. We expect electron affinity to increase. So E, and so we'll call this EA. So electron affinity, as you go across, we're going to say it increases. So more negative numbers, more energy released. And going up a group, so there for the electron affinity, as we said, as you go down a group, right, it's going to decrease going down a group because the electrons are farther away. So going up a group, you would expect it to increase as well. So the general trend of electronegativity is increasing from the bottom left corner to the top right corner. And there's your trend of electron affinity. So I hope this was helpful. If you learned something from this video, if you enjoyed this video, if you like my videos, please like it, smash that like button, and then make sure you hit that notification bell, subscribe to my channel, so that way you can be notified of other videos I put out. Please share my videos with others, and make a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Ask me questions. I love to answer questions. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.